Hey, it's Olivia. We're back for another Draw and Chat with OVjanelle. So, SawesomeCon was this past weekend, and I did my first Artist Alley table, and it was pretty fun. A girl came up to my table and actually asked me what she should know, what things she needed to know about doing an Artist Alley table. And I didn't really know what to tell her. We tried to give her an answer that was helpful, but I don't think I wound up doing the best because I hadn't finished my first Artist Alley table and I didn't have all the information I needed. So today we're going to talk about the expectations versus the realities of your first table, at least in my case, and then things you learn from the experience. So my first expectation was I expected my prints to go over really well. My printed artwork, I expected it to just go flying off the shelves or table. And the reality was my commissions sold better. And I didn't really know why, but the reason that my commission sold better was because my prints were really niche. I had a Zutara print, I had a Victor is a Vitas fan print, I had Chibiusa and Helios, which is less niche, but still pretty niche within the Sailor Moon fandom. I had an original concept drawing that nobody really attached themselves to except for one of the owners of Paper Cute. I didn't have a lot of variety that people really liked, and also I didn't have a lot of variety. I didn't have a lot of prints available for people to buy, and so the ones that I did were just, they couldn't relate to. So with the commissions, they wound up buying commissions off of me and having me draw their characters because the variety that they wanted was not there except for me to draw for them, and because my prints weren't very relatable to the mass of people that were there. So that was expectation versus reality, and lesson learned was just to expect more commissions from a small con, and maybe even have it set up so that you can mail some of them out if somebody wants you to, versus or could have you do that. I still haven't figured out the workings of that, so we'll get back to that another time. But also to have more prints available and more simpler prints, and do drawings that people will relate to easier rather than things that you really like. You have to remember to sell for people or sell things to people by drawing what they want rather than what you want. You can draw what you want in your own time, but sometimes when you're doing tables, you have to kind of find that happy medium between doing what you want and what the consumer wants. So my other expectation was that I was going to make a huge profit. And the reality was I only nearly broke even. Like, I didn't even break even. I was just shy of breaking even, and I actually lost a little bit of money, which somebody told me actually the first day that nobody breaks even on their first table. And you know what? I paid off the table. I made money back on the table itself. But the hotel room and everything else involved, I did not break even on. And in fact, I wound up basically paying a little bit to have said experience, which is fine. I mean, I did better than a lot of people do, is what I've been told. I think I was down I had lost $41 in the whole endeavor, but that was a very small fraction of what we paid. I think all in total it was $187 towards it, and I lost, a fraction of that. So it's all good and well, but you shouldn't expect to make a huge profit. You should really just be looking towards making it so that you break even, I think, because you're probably not going to break even that first time because there's still so much to learn. So maybe taking into account other people's experiences, you can get closer to breaking even, but you definitely have to listen to those experiences and then have your own experiences so you can learn from them. Another thing I expected was my smaller items to sell less, and like I said, I expected my bigger items, like my prints and things, to sell better, but in reality, the smaller items were more popular because, for example, the buttons, I had buttons of prints that I was selling, so then people they saw the Kobayashi's Dragon Maid drawing, and they said, oh, I really love this drawing, but then they saw the button version of it that was, several dollars less expensive. A $15 print or $2 button. They wound up buying the $2 button. So I shot myself in the foot because I made buttons of things that I already had as prints. So the lesson learned there would be definitely do not make any buttons of things that you expect to sell on a bigger scale. Make buttons of things that are specifically made for buttons. So there was, expectation, reality, lesson learned. Another thing was I had this little idea that I had gotten from somebody at Planet Comic Con, which was to make artist scribble cards. And I took my own spin on it, and I made these cards that were basically coloring cards, coloring sheets. They were drawings that I drew on the spot, and I inked them in and they became little coloring pages, and I put my information on the back of them. So I expected these to sell better. I expected to make lots of them. And in reality, I didn't have enough time to make artist scribble cards because I was making or drawing commissions. I was drawing full color commissions. I was drawing inked commissions. I was drawing pencil commissions. I think I took about 13 or 14 commissions that week. And that's a lot for how much time I spent on them. And I actually probably should have charged more, but that's a whole nother lesson there. We'll talk about price in a minute. I don't have that in my notes, so it might be a bit rambly. Or another video. But that was, I didn't have enough time to do these scribble cards that were such a good idea to me. And then another thing that I expected was I had a pink tablecloth. I had a pink tablecloth and lots of girly prints, and I expected the tablecloth coordinating with the prints to attract lots of attention, and it did. But it primarily attracted female attention. And so what I learned from that was not to alienate my male demographic as much as I did by having bright pink tabling. I should choose more gender neutral colors. So yeah, those are some of my lessons and some of my experiences. When I think of more, I'm probably going to make another video like this. Some of the other lessons learned, though, in the meantime, since we have a few minutes left, is the art setup. Next time I'm going to have like PVC piping and have a lot more prints available. I'm going to have, again, like I said, simpler prints, and I'm going to have them all hanging like so many other artists do. One thing, though, before I go, that I think is super, super important when you're doing an artist alley table is to engage your customer. Talk to them, bring them in, say, hey, how are you doing today? Almost like you would at a grocery store if you were working at a grocery store, like me. So that's something that really came in handy with me. Was my experience working in a grocery store is that I have to help the customer and be this, friendly smile, and I have to help people with a smile and invite them in to say, oh, hi, how are you? How can I help you today? And that's something that I took with me to the table. I engaged customers, and it helped me a lot, and I think that half the reason I didn't lose as much money as I could have was because I engaged customers. So if you take anything from this, take that, engage your customers, and also take all the rest of that information I gave you. I'll do another video about this soon, but in the meantime, all you guys, I hope you have a brilliant rest of the week, and I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. I will have another ASMR video coming soon, but in the meantime, like and subscribe, and give me a comment below what you want to know about tabling and conventions and stuff. Alright, bye!